You spent countless hours in the garage with your dad. Now investing in that old car and working on it with your son reminds you of him. And his legacy lives on. Fund your passion with a low-interest home equity line of credit from Bank of Blue Valley.
Hey, Scott, what are you doing? You're official now with this product placement. Nobody's noticing, right? Subconscious.
Some good brew.
It's the mug that makes it, honestly. It's all about the mug, honestly.
Now, did you like flip your hair over since I like saw you last? Is that your look for video stuff? You just have it completely flipped over?
This is my show look, so you can see my nickel and suede earrings.
Oh, Kylie Nichols, beautiful earrings. I talk to people all the time about nickel and suede because I notice them.
Do you know that I have a huge grudge against one of our dogs because he got a hold of my favorite pair that was seasonal only, and I only lost one of them, and I still am mad at him about it because those earrings were my absolute favorite. They have the best earrings.
Well, you know the owners. You'll be good to go. I'm sure she'll ship it to you.
It was seasonal, Scott. Don't you understand seasonal? Did you get season?
I'm a typical dude, very basic dude. So that actually went over my head, but now I'm processing and I get it.
Yes, if I've ever said she wants something seasonal, get it right then. Got it?
Okay, good to know.
All right, I want to talk about something really quick, and then we've got to get to our panel. But we just were tagged on something on LinkedIn right before this. So Classy Alsign, everybody go and look at hers. So the city has put together an internship program, and I don't know enough of the details about it, but all I know is that they had so many more students sign up for this internship program that they need 40 more businesses to take on interns. And Classy is trying to find businesses that want interns this summer. I've seen Quentin post about it, and I saw Classy tagged us today. So if you are a business that is looking for interns this summer, this is something awesome to get involved with. Go find Classy or send me and Scott a message and we can introduce you to Classy. But they need 40 more businesses in Kansas City to take on interns because they had so many kids wanting to do internships. It's so awesome.
It's huge. And they're working with some amazing folks that are applying for these internships. So literally you could change the trajectory of someone's life if you are able to train and mentor and guide one of these phenomenal interns that they're paying for, right?
I don't know all the details, so I don't want to speak to the details, but I just know they need 40 more businesses. That's the one detail I know, and we know business. So that's what I'm talking to. So Classy will give you the details on that. But Scott, you and I already hung out. You want to tell everyone how we saw each other today?
Well, we saw 4 wardrobe changes from CEO Wendy Reynolds, and we also got to do the video with her at Bank of Blue Valley, their headquarters off 119th and what we call Old 69 Highway, Metcalf. And it was absolutely wonderful. One of the most accessible CEOs I've ever met. Just literally everyone that she interacted with, her associates, she's so accessible and so welcoming. I'm very honored to have this amazing mug, but also to be her friend. But she's very amazing.
And you were very surprised. Her office you can actually see from like when you're from the tellers.
If you go to Bank of Blue Valley, you literally could run into the CEO and literally anything from your home loan to your 401k to a $20 million bank loan. I mean, it's pretty impressive. So very cool what they've done in the community. And in a golf course, Lady Sykes, which is the Overland Park Golf Course, Bank of Blue Valley helped do a lot of financing for that. So it's a great restaurant and golf course right by your new home that you're building. A pool that was also helped with by Bank of Blue Valley.
Absolutely. And my son has been golfing at that golf course. So you just named my whole entire life. When did I turn into a golf mom / I'm going to have a pool? I don't even know what's going on, but I want to get to our panel. I'm super excited about our panel today. Again, let's give Jessica Powell a shout out. She helped us book some of our guests. So again, we get to meet new awesome people. And I'm so excited, but you're doing music because it stresses me out.
So I've gotten this advice from multiple past guests. So after you announce, I'm going to play the music, you're going to announce, and then you're going to point at me and I'm going to stop the music and then you're going to announce them. And then we're going to do it 4 times because when we play the music, they can't hear you announce everyone's name.
We should have practiced.
We're going to do it. We can do it.
Okay, and hey, let us know in the comments who's here. Are you watching from Facebook? Are you watching from LinkedIn? Or starting today, we're live on YouTube. So let us know where you're watching from. Let us know who you're excited to see. And I'm ready. Are you ready with your new
You go like this and you point and I play.
All right, we're going to go ladies first. Well, let me say it right. I'm sorry. Let me start over. Dr. Cheryl Cooper. Miss Jenny Miller. Eric Foster. Oh, now you threw me all off. And Bill Brandmeyer.
Oh, what a first time we did it.
Well, so here's the good news. That's the first and last time we're doing that. We'll have to come up with a better plan so everyone can hear us. But this seems a little, it seemed like a lot.
I just got, that's why Aaron runs the show. You know, you win some, you lose some.
The clown music is what really put it over the edge for me, Scott. But thank you for trying. This is what we say at work. Thank you for trying and add to your idea, right?
You're being way too nice.
All right, real quick, I want to say hi to some of our friends. This person is watching us on LinkedIn, but this is what happens when your privacy settings are out on LinkedIn. Paul, hello. Dan loves it. You and Dan, you guys could just maybe work for the circus. And Reggie over on LinkedIn. So, and Alex, you need to fix your privacy so that your friend Bill can see you. And Janae, welcome. So thank you guys. Oh, and Janae makes a good point. May the 4th be with you. It's Star Wars Day. So let's get started. Cheryl, who are you? What do you do? And how do you get where you're at? Cheryl, you're muted.
Okay. Hello, everyone. And thank you, Aaron and Scott, for having me. I am thrilled to be here today. Aaron, can you hear me okay?
Yes, we can.
Okay. Hi, everyone out there in the virtual world. I am Dr. Cheryl Cooper. I am a cybersecurity professional with T-Mobile. I'm a mentor and I'm an adjunct professor where I teach cybersecurity course curriculum with Webster and K-State University. I am a board member for the organization Awesome Ambitions, a college prep and career readiness program for girls in grades 8th through 12th grade. But I'm also president of Women in Security Mentors. We offer an annual Kansas City cybersecurity mentoring event in September, so look out for that. But I want to tell you a little bit about me. A little bit about my story and how I came to be. I'm a veteran of the United States Navy, and at the young age of just 19 years old, I decided to join the military. It was a pivotal point in my life as I grew up in the inner city of what some of you may know as the hood, the ghetto, which is notorious and commonly related to drugs, crime, welfare, lack of opportunity, lack of resource, lack of accessibility. So not only did I live in the midst of it, I was living it. I lost many of my friends. I lost dear ones. And I lost my husband when someone shot him in the top of his head. Not only did I lose my husband, I lost the father of my child, and I became a single parent. It was one of the best decisions that I made in joining the United States Navy, as it saved my life. While during and serving my time with the military, I was able to gain a technical skill in telecommunications. And then after serving 8 years, I decided to pursue a career in the private sector. But essentially, it was my service to the military that introduced me to technology. and later just the evolution of the technology ecosystem that continued my career growth. But now, after 25 years in the industry, I'm using those gifts to give back to the communities of women and underrepresented individuals to encourage them to pursue careers in STEM and specifically in cybersecurity. Now, one of the keys in being successful in my journey was the importance of always developing myself, to have a perpetual mindset of self-discovery and improvement when I stumbled and often failed. I'm also writing my memoir to show young girls who look like me why I make a great mentor. And I'm on track to publish that memoir this year. You know, I say in my book, one of the statements that someone's going to say is, wow, she sure made some poor choices. But I'd like to say there are no poor choices. As long as you are learning, you're growing, you're reflecting, it is often through our adversity, our lowest, my loss, my hopelessness, my darkest, that led me to a purposeful life. And it's also led to my vision, to my legacy, and hopefully my greatness. And I hope to later to discuss with you some wins that I've accomplished over the last year. Thank you again, Aaron and Scott.
Well, listen, I'm not sure anyone's ever been as prepared as you are for this show. Very impressive. You and I have known each other for a while, and I didn't know most of that. So I'm excited to read your memoir, and we're excited to have you join us. And we're definitely going to get to wins. We always do on this show. People love that optimism. So thank you for joining us, Cheryl. I'm super excited.
And thank you.
Jenny, who are you? What do you do, and how do you get here?
So yes, my name is Jenny Miller. My official title is the Senior Director of Ecosystem Development for the Umkc Innovation Center. And so what does that mean? I get to hang out with awesome people like you guys all day and help small businesses across Kansas City. I love what I do with the Umkc Innovation Center. We work with all types of entrepreneurs at any stage of business, and being able to work with them through the process of their business development is extremely fulfilling. Watching their dreams come true for a lot of the people that we work with is very rewarding. How did I get here? I was actually born and raised in small town Northwest Iowa. So the very rural area, 2,500 people. The closest Walmart was over 30 miles away. So very different life than I think Cheryl did, but I think we maybe had some of the same struggles as we were coming up. And looking at kind of my background and where I went to college right after high school because I wanted to live in dorms. So that's kind of where my life was. I ended up getting my undergrad degree. I moved to France and got my master's degree. I really like to travel. Thank you, Cheryl, for your service. I actually contracted with the military and taught swimming at overseas bases. So that's how I put myself through college. But then wanted to get into marketing and advertising. I lived on the East Coast for a while doing some strategic advertising and marketing. Moved back to the Midwest to be with family and ended up in Kansas City because I wanted a social life. So a lot of different choices. I like your saying there, Cheryl, you don't make poor choices. You learn from everything that you do. And that's so true. A series of all those decisions is what brought me to Kansas City. I've been here for 8 years. Actually, this month will be 8 years I've been in Kansas City with the Innovation Center, and working with our businesses across the city and really watching things grow and change has been very rewarding.
Amazing. Well, thank you for joining us. And you and I had to talk offline. You've been growing your hair out during this pandemic. And if people know you from before, your hair length looks much different.
It grows fast. Yes, I'm growing. I decided with the pandemic, we weren't getting haircuts. So it grew out and I thought, well, it's long enough. I'm going to keep growing it and donate it when things open up and we go back to the office. So I'm getting ready to make those appointments to go go donate. If anyone knows a place in town that is really good at that, let me know, because I'm not sure where to go or what the process is.
Perfect. Well, we will know. Someone will tell us in the comments. So thank you for joining us. Eric, who are you? What do you do? And how do you get here?
Thanks, Eric Foster. I'm president of a cybersecurity company here in town called CYDERES. We basically took the first couple of letters of cyber defense and response, and CYDERES.com is available, and that's what you need to name a company these days. There you go. I'm a part of Fish Tech Group, as you can see. We're big supporters of Cheryl and everything that they're doing in women's security. We've hosted them a few times out here, and are really big fans. Basically, what we're trying to do, and what I'm trying to do every single day, is help companies protect themselves online. We try to bring the cybersecurity people and process and technology to help businesses of all sizes, literally from Fortune 1 on down, to help them better protect their employees, better protect their organization, better protect their ability to service their customers. And, how did I get here? So 25 years in cybersecurity, a lot of hard work, a lot of good luck, a lot of really important mentorship along the way. Started as a computer engineering and computer science major at Mizzou, and then sort of traveled around quite a bit, worked for a major financial services company here in town, worked for a major healthcare IT company here in town. But what brought me back to Kansas City most recently is I was living in Florida and working in Silicon Valley, in part because you literally couldn't pay me enough to live in California. So we were literally commuting, across the country for 4 days a week. And our board of directors at the time gave us a very clear directive that said, you need to open an office somewhere that's not Silicon Valley, New York, or Austin. And put together a proposal to farm shore our information security program, and literally landed back in Kansas City, because Kansas City is a place that has a great nexus of cybersecurity talent, in part due to some of the great companies that have already been mentioned here, in part due to the history of Gary Fish and building FishNet security here, that was the largest cybersecurity solutions provider in North America. And, so previous startup, we opened an office here in Kansas City, and fast forward, the rest is history.
So you got to go a little bit more in depth in terms of, I don't think people realize why Kansas City is a cybersecurity hub. So through the iterations, there were 2 companies that sold. This is the 3rd company. And, I think you kind of undersold yourself a little bit, where, you're potentially, you're taking over what potentially could be one of the largest companies in Kansas City for what you guys are trying to grow to be. So I guess the quick question is kind of give a little snippet of history, why Kansas City is a cybersecurity hub. And then secondly, if we're doing a password, tell us why spaces matter in our password so much.
Absolutely. So I'll answer, let me go into the first part first here. So Kansas City is a cybersecurity hub. It comes from a couple different reasons. Honestly, first and foremost, I would quite honestly say one of the biggest reasons is FishNet Security was headquartered here. So Gary Fish, CEO, founder, Kansas City resident, previously built FishNet Security here, literally out of his garage, one of arguably the most successful entrepreneur stories in cybersecurity, built that to a really, really significant company that was eventually merged with a company headquartered out of Denver called Accuvant to create a mega company that is today known as Optiv. So Gary Fish basically did all that here out of Kansas City, and over the course of running what was the largest cybersecurity solutions provider in North America out of Kansas City, you built generations, literally a couple different generations of talent working for FishNet and working around FishNet. And then not just that, but, I think a lot of people on the coast don't realize how many great technology companies are here in Kansas City, not just Sprint and Cerner, that maybe a couple people will get that, but, Garmin, the financial companies that are here. There's obviously several great, very successful startups that are here. There's a lot of entrepreneurial talent that's here. And, we really consider it a great nexus of talent, not just for cybersecurity, but for IT in general. And then you combine with that, and this was literally part of our whole farm shoring proposal, was the incredible cost of living that you can get here. And that factors into everything, because quite literally, some of my competitors on the coasts, for example, are paying 2 and 3 times what we are for the same position. And, I will take that Midwest work ethic and background and capability just as much over somebody that's sitting in California or New York. And we can pay them a fair wage where they can have actually a much higher cost, quality of life out here in the Midwest. We bring people in from the coast and they're like, wait, I can afford a house out here? And it's like, yeah, you absolutely can. And in fact, a really nice house compared to that like 32 square foot apartment you were co-renting with, 4 people in the heart of Silicon Valley. So that's sort of my very long story short about why Kansas City is such a nexus of cybersecurity talent. You've got,
and real quick, you got to talk about spaces and passwords.
So passwords, yeah. So the biggest thing, honestly, with passwords, I would honestly say, is not to complicate it too much. There's one really simple rule, which is you should never reuse a password ever. And that's the biggest sin that most people fall into, is they'll use the same password on a website that they use for banking, that they use for email, that they use for anything else. And as you know, passwords and websites get compromised all the time. The single best thing that you can do is use a different and ideally a completely complex and random password on every site that you visit. And the best way to do that is with what's called a password manager. There are a bunch of them that are out there. Most of them are free. Some of them are premium. LastPass, KeyPass. There's several different options out there, and you really can't go wrong Google Password Manager. But basically what you want to do is use one of those programs, put it on your phone, and have a unique password almost every place. There are certain circumstances where, depending on the system that you're on, having a space in your password can be valuable because it makes it slightly harder to crack. But quite honestly, we don't really see those kind of attacks as much anymore in modern cybersecurity. Most people aren't brute forcing passwords anymore, and they're not downloading passwords that they're going to crack later. They're going and compromising the way that they can get to those passwords much more easily and effectively, and then they're reusing those passwords out across all sorts of places. So the single most important thing is to use unique passwords every place. The only thing that I would say that is as equally important, or maybe even more important if you're talking especially commercial, is to use what we call 2-factor authentication. So if you've been on a site that allows you to get a text to your phone or even use a security key or something else to log in, that's exponentially more secure than just using a password. And you want to basically do that almost every place you can, especially with your email is one of the most common things compromised. And, any of the email providers will have really good 2-factor authentication options for you.
So you're saying 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 is not a password that I should be repeating?
It's definitely not the best password. And if you're going to use that as a password, definitely don't use that on your email and your banking and everything else. Yeah, that's good, Grant. And then
I paid Grant to say that.
Every year when you're forced to change it, you can, increment the
2022.
Right, exactly.
Well, thank you, Eric. I think I would be your nightmare. Now that you've talked, I feel like you and Cheryl would just kick me if you came over here.
We need Grant to come on and host this show and kick me out of it after my music. But Cheryl made me feel better about trying stuff and failing.
All right. Well, here is the deal. We have our first guest that's ever been on twice. He's already got a fan club over here. Yes, you, sir, and you're on mute. So take it off mute before you.
Well, hello, everyone.
So Bill has been on before, but he's doing something really awesome in the community. So we offered for him to come back. So Bill, give us just a real quick who you are, because they've met you before, and then tell them what you're doing.
Well, Dr. Cooper, thank you for your service. I really appreciate it. I think we could do a show with just a single one-on-one podcast with each one of your guests every single week. You could do everyone together and then break off and do singles with all these guys, because just amazing your backgrounds and your intelligence and just what you bring. Really cool. Really happy to be here. I'm Bill Brandmeyer. I am the founder and executive director of a new foundation in Kansas City called ShareWaves. We are trying to advance opportunities for kids throughout the city to play sports, really focusing on underserved communities where sports deserts exist in our city. COVID has done a really number on our kids, separated them from all extracurricular activities and left them kind of out there abandoned to suffer through the isolation and loneliness and just the confusion of the restrictions that we placed on their lives. And what ShareWaves wants to try to do is to help kids reconnect to life by reconnecting to sports. And we're working with a number of different organizations in Kansas City to make a difference. We have 5 key initiatives that we're working on, and all of them lead us to, the simple thing is that sports has a way of transforming kids' lives. I'm just so impressed with Dr. Cooper's pathway through life and how she overcame her circumstances and moved herself through this life to become a leader of women and a leader of people. And it's those kinds of stories that we want to tell about how amazing people are through incredible adversity. And coming out of COVID, there's a lot of opportunity for that. So I'm just glad to be with you guys. The more I get to know you, the more I like you.
That was wonderful. That was quick. You guys are all very.
I have one Gary Fish story. I was in Toastmasters with Gary Fish. So there you go.
That was good. Had it been a while ago.
It was a long, long time ago. It was when FishNet was brand new and he was learning to be a public speaker. It was pretty neat. I mean, I didn't know him, but you could tell that he was really working on his skill set outside of everything he was doing to build an incredible company, and just kind of showcases the kind of person he is. And I'm sure that working for him is a pretty special gift.
So Bill, go ahead, Aaron.
Cheryl, go ahead.
Yeah, Aaron and Scott, I just wanted to piggyback off what Bill said, as well as what Eric said with Fish Tech. I know we haven't gotten to the part about some of our biggest wins, but Eric.
You hit yourself on mute again, Cheryl.
Okay. I know we're going to talk about wins, but I'd like to piggyback off of our discussion about Fish Tech. Eric, not this year, but the year before, I partnered with Fish Tech and Gary Fish's team, and we transported 100 girls from the Kansas City Public School District to the Fish Tech facilities. And we've been talking today about mentors. I keep hearing mentor, mentor, mentor. And you know what? When I'm talking to women, they're saying, I had to figure it out on my own. But when we did this event at Fish Tech, these girls said, I didn't even know we had something like that in Kansas City. I thought that was only on TV. And when we asked them, what did you like most about the event? They said, talking to the ladies. See, they're looking for those mentors, those advocates. And I've been asked, Eric, to go to one of those schools under KCPS and talk about cybersecurity, because those girls are still talking about Fish Tech.
Wow.
Yeah,
cool.
We have to.
Very cool.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry.
No, that's wonderful. All I was going to say is one of our former guests, Letitia Randolph, she just won the big Toastmasters award.
Wow.
So that's
I
went down a little trail on Toastmasters. Okay, let's just pivot into wins from there. Everybody give us a couple minutes of what your biggest win has been during COVID. Go ahead, Cheryl.
Okay, sure thing. I had mentioned it in my introduction that I do a Kansas City cybersecurity summit and mentoring event. I hosted an event in September of last year in the bowels of Corona, and had 80 people to register for an in-person event. We had to cut off registration. So that was just people looking to know more about the cybersecurity career field, but also with adults who are looking to transition careers. So yeah, what a success for an in-person event during the pandemic.
Well, you always throw good events. I've been to a couple of your good events.
Yeah.
So
Sure. One thing I got to mention. So I've known you as well for 2 years. Aaron's known you for 3. Do you not share your personal story a lot? Because I mean that's very moving, and I mean, shoot, I've hung out with you 7, 8 times. So I mean, is that something that I appreciate you sharing? But is it something you don't typically lead with?
I don't typically lead with that, Scott and Aaron, and I've been learning to do that, and thank you for allowing me to do it on your platform. As I began to write my memoir, I had to go back to some dark places that brought me to tears, and I suddenly realized that I had to have a safety plan when I was writing, and so it's allowed me to heal, Scott, and share that, and knowing I'm not perfect, but neither is anyone else. And through those mistakes that I made, it's what makes me who I am today. It makes me the person to go back into the inner city to girls who look like me and say, it's possible. We control our destiny. And so thank you for that, Scott. Hey, but I did want to tell everyone, we're doing that Kansas City Cybersecurity Mentoring and Summit event. We are planning it now, and don't hold me to it, but we are looking to have that at the Sprint Center. I'm sorry, the Sprint Campus out on 119th and Knoll at the Winter Garden. So stay tuned for that.
we'll be looking for it. I was going to say, I think the reason we don't hear that about Cheryl too is that Cheryl always puts others first. She always puts people in front of her. She's one of the best people that I've ever met at that. And so often she doesn't get the credit she deserves. All right, Jenny. Besides growing your hair, I know you kind of had a stumbling block during COVID.
Yeah, personally, yeah.
What has been when? But tell everybody what you went through too, if you're comfortable with that.
Sure. Yep. We actually purchased a new home April 15th of 2020. We closed with the intent of remodeling it. So we lived there for less than a month and decided, hey, if we're going to remodel, we have to do it regardless of a pandemic. So we began remodeling our house in July of 2020. We're able to move back in Halloween weekend. 2 weeks later, our house caught on fire due to a lawnmower. So if anyone has an attached garage, be careful of storing your lawnmower there. I'll throw that out as a PSA. But so then, yeah, our house burned down, and we have been living in temporary housing and hopefully moving back in the next 2 to 3 weeks. So we'll have owned our house for over a year and lived there less than 6 weeks. But
okay, gotta ask, everyone, it's the audience question. People want to know, I'm assuming, how the lawnmower caught the house on fire. And then secondly, people talk about a big expense account in business as a business show. I've always been told the expense account of your life, if you want to throw humor on it, which I know it's a difficult subject, is the biggest expense account is if your house burns down. So if you can tell our guests, because this is something that I know I've had personal friends that have dealt with it, but maybe we can learn from it. How did the lawnmower catch fire so we can learn how to store it safely? And then secondly, tell us about kind of having to work with the insurance company to get everything replaced.
Leaves. So how did the lawnmower catch on fire? It was November, and my husband had gone out to mulch leaves with the lawnmower, rode it into the garage to store it, and they said leaves got stuck up on the manifold, and it was hot and started on fire.
Okay.
So yeah, like I thought it was a big freak accident. I was like, oh my gosh, you've got to be kidding me. But the firemen say this is more common than you would realize. And a positive, working with the insurance company, they said most people don't purposely catch their house on fire after a remodel. So there wasn't a big investigation.
Yeah.
So.
I've had a friend with a chimenea. So it's basically, a small chimney They put it all out with water, and then wind had a spark, and that caught their house on fire. And then another gentleman who's a partner of mine in the insurance space fried a turkey in his garage, caught that on fire. So wasn't as much sympathy as obviously a lawnmower or a chimney. It's something that did it after the fact, but I'm so sorry about that. And but tell us a business win that's been going well for you.
Yeah. So I oversee KC SourceLink here in Kansas City, and we operate a triage center for entrepreneurs and businesses. As COVID was coming down and we all were trying to transition our lives, we also helped thousands of businesses save their livelihoods. Through the course of 2020, the KC SourceLink hotline helped over 13,000 businesses. So extremely proud of our staff, and I get, but yes, just everything that people were dealing with personally, and then the number of businesses that we were able to help through 2020 was a huge win.
And you still put on an awesome Global Entrepreneurship Week.
Yes.
Go virtual.
Yes, totally transitioned GEW this year in 2020 to be virtual. So going through all of the struggles of everybody else, I guess, and trying to get that go virtual. We were able to reach new audiences this year and still have over 1,000 individual people sign up to attend the event for multiple days.
We actually landed our biggest client out of Silicon Valley from that. So thank you.
Yes.
That would have been a Global Entrepreneurship Week.
Teamwork.
That's good.
So GEW is coming up again in November. We're actually just trying to decide what this year's going to look like. And if anyone's willing to hop on board and help out, feel free to reach out and let me know.
Awesome.
Well, thank you for
everyone
coming.
to attend. Yeah.
Thank you for sharing your personal stuff too. I think that's important because I had no idea about lawnmowers, but I've got a whole speech ready for when my girlfriend gets home. All right, Eric, what's been a big win you've had during this past year?
Oh, honestly, there are so many. It's really hard to narrow down to just one. Building a high growth business in this kind of industry and the kind of success that we've been seeing, it's just, you get up every single day and you go try to fight for your customers, you try to fight for your employees. And, if you're doing it right, every single month is basically better than the last. So, almost for sure every quarter and almost every single month we're closing our biggest deal. So I could point back to win after win after win of this was our biggest deal ever as a company that we thought we'd never eclipse, that we only followed by our beating that with our biggest deal and our biggest customer and our biggest retention and our biggest growth and everything else. I do want to go back, Cheryl, it was a fantastic honor hosting you and a whole bunch of fantastic women and young women, here at our offices in 2019. And anybody who wants to, you can go out to any of the Fish Tech social media. I know Startland News did an article on it, and you can see, kind of quite a bit of photos and details on that. And of course, Cheryl, I think but the opportunity always exists. The offer is always open, anytime you guys want to come back out. I know we've also hosted Women in Security out here. And I think it's something that a lot of people don't really realize, speaking of a giant win, is just how great of facilities we've built out here. And that does tie into what I would lay out as my single biggest win of the last year, which has been continuing to operate our business successfully through COVID, keeping our facilities open the entire time through COVID, and also having 0 confirmed transmission cases of COVID while doing so, which was, basically our facilities team and our administration team and our HR, all of which, fantastic critical parts of our organization. We work together to put in place numerous, safety and security enhancements to deal with that. And of course, as a critical business, we were able to stay open the entire time, and we were able to help service our customers and service their needs throughout the pandemic and provide a safe opportunity for our employees to, work here from the offices. We did, I say stay open the entire time. I mean, we did voluntarily shut down the buildings for a couple different months right at the start. And then we did shut down a little bit right over the holidays. Again, just shutting down the physical facilities, having everybody remote work. But we were officially reopened as of the July 4th weekend last year, so spent most of the year reopened while most everybody else, I think, was still dealing with some of those challenges.
Eric, that's a huge offer. And I was about to say, I was like, hey, Cheryl, ask Eric to host at his facility. But I knew I had a problem with coming to Fish Tech when I pulled up my Uber on my phone, and it told me if I wanted to go to Fish Tech. So I probably needed to quit going there so much. But they also have the 13th hole remake of Augusta behind their office. And 50% of the time, I've actually been there a good amount. 50% of the time I'm there, there are literally deer that go through the hole because it backs up to the Blue River. So it's a lot of people don't realize that Fish Tech beat out Cerner's new office in the Business Journal in 2018 when they built their office. So for a company at the time that was about 60 employees to beat out a 26,000 employee company, it's a very impressive office if you are able to get the invite to head out there.
Just hang out with Pat Havens. I went to a whiskey tasting there with him, and it was very, very nice.
Yeah, we had the wonderful crew from the Rieger here in for that you were talking to, which we're huge fans of Ryan maybe and everything else. And Tony is correct. I wasn't going to correct you, but it's the Golden Bell. It's 12 at Augusta.
You're so nice, Eric.
Hey, 12, 13, whatever it takes.
You can ask all my friends at Fish Tech. I never play it. I have my rolling cooler that's in my garage right now. I get in the Uber, plop it in there, and then host events at your facility. But
absolutely,
we're talking too much, and we don't know Bill's big one. And Bill, you didn't tell us about any big announcements that you have coming. So give us some recent wins.
Well, recently I've been able to connect with some amazing people that are working with kids, trying to use sports to better kids' lives, but also really touching kids' lives through mentorship and through relationship and developing coaches to impact kids. There's an organization in Kansas City, Kansas called KC United, and Pastor Adrian Robertson. You need to have Adrian on this show. He's just absolutely amazing and just so sold out to help kids and impact our community. He's been in KCK for his whole life. He's a dot, but he's been building KC United for 14 years, and just the idea that I have a chance to work with someone.
So he's a dot, as in Wyandotte dot.
Correct. Yeah.
What a cool! I've never heard that terminology. That's cool.
Yeah. Hey, Nate Bucati, he's a dot. He taught me that. So, I'm thinking back through, what I feel like is my the biggest win of COVID for me, and I think that having my 19-year-old, now 20-year-old daughter have to be home for the full year and have all three of my kids back in our home together. It was hard, hard to relate and hard to, navigate through all the chaos, but we really did bond as a family in a way that, probably would never have happened. It was probably a once in a lifetime, once in a millennial kind of thing that brought us back together as a family and gave us a chance to, after she had flown the coop, to kind of bring her back in and reconnect with her. And now she's back at school. She goes to school in California, and she's back to living her life and growing and becoming an adult. But COVID really was special by the way it bonded my family. As far as ShareWaves goes, we are we're aggressively going after support. We need help. There's a lot of pain out there. Kids are coming out of COVID with a lot of different issues. May is Mental Health Awareness Month. We believe that movement is the medicine, and so we're putting together a campaign with a Kansas City physical activity plan, and Pastor Adrian Robertson. We're both the sector leads of the sports sector of the Kansas City physical activity plan, and together we want to get the community out, moving around, and really enjoying what it means to be outside and moving, and how that impacts our mental health. The studies are very clear that movement is such a key to making us feel better about ourselves and better about the world around us. And since this is, such a critical time as we, move away from the restrictions and into a more open society, we want to come back and kind of enjoy that. So Pastor Robertson and his team are putting together a kind of a pilot block party in KCK. Tony Temple, a good friend of mine, MU Tiger, Rockhurst grad, he's putting together a really cool event on the 15th of May to get people out and moving around. He's got this incredible program called Animal Movements for Kids. I got a chance to interact with Kareem Rush yesterday. I went to lunch with Neil Smith. I am engaging with people at a level of connection that is going to move things, going to make a difference. And we're just really excited. We're putting together a really fun event at Top Golf. We're raising money for First Tee and Youth on Course. First Tee puts kids through golf and gives kids a chance to play the game that is so much fun. And it is able to teach life lessons through their programming. They have 3 courses. It costs $300 to get one kid through 3 courses for a summer. And we want to raise $25,000, to give 810 kids access to the First Tee program. We're also going to provide opportunities for kids to play golf through the Youth on Course, which is a part of Central Links, a golf. They're in charge of all the golf tournaments in town, and Central Links and Doug Hable and his team, they help youth play sports for $5 a round throughout the city. It's $5. They show up, they get to play 18 holes and really practice the game the way it should be practiced. That's on the course. And we're excited to host the Blasters on June 27th. Our featured guest is Tom Watson. So it really doesn't get any better than that. It's going to be an amazing night. We're going to have bays competition, six golfers in kind of a scramble format. We're also going to have an individual Blasters champion. The Blasters was our launch event. We did it 2 years ago. We had pros come, and we had amateurs, and we had young kids come and play and compete. And we're going to do that again this June 27th at Top Golf. It's a Sunday night. We're going to have a bunch of really great people there, celebrities, and just the radio station's going to be really involved. And are you getting the hook? What?
I'm trying to say is you said celebrities. Is Scott?
Yeah,
Havens?
Scott Havens. Yeah. Oh yeah. No, Scott's got to buy. He's going to sponsor.
I thought you were giving Bill the hook. I was like, he's on a roll. I'm just amazed.
I was having a hard time pointing. Like I've never done this before.
Jenny, Jenny, we had a fire in November too. It's kind of ironic. We just moved into a house in Prairie Village, and we were so excited. We had wood burning fireplaces, and we burned 2 fires in our fireplace. And the second one, cinders went down into the basement and caught the basement on fire. Luckily, the house filled with smoke, and we were able to call the fire department. They were here in like 2 minutes and was able to put the fire out. But we've had to have everything taken out of the house and cleaned, and it's been because you think about it, through COVID, it was a pretty chaotic time, and that was but we made it out safely, and our house didn't burn down, so that's good.
Wow. All right, Scott, you know who's here?
Oh no, Mr. Wither
showing up right at the end of the show, so everybody has to answer in 2 minutes or less, okay? Because we've only got 10 minutes left. Everybody gets 2 minutes. You ready?
Ready.
The one, the only. Last time you'll see this outfit, because we shot new videos today, and this wasn't one of the outfits, so I enjoyed this jacket. Miss Wendy Reynolds is here with our question of the week. All right, Cheryl, as soon as she's done asking, you got 2 minutes to answer your answer. Sorry that we're on a time clock.
What have been the biggest challenges you've had to overcome?
Hi, Wendy. Thank you for that question. The biggest challenge that I have had to overcome is being Black and being a woman. Double jeopardy, intersectionality. And you may say, well, I'm a woman too. But me as a woman, I have different challenges than any other woman. But I believe that 2021 is the year of the woman. It is the year of the women of color. And we are making strides, and we are moving into those leadership roles. Thank you for your question.
I just love you.
You're
All right.
crushing it.
I just don't even know what to say. I love you so much. Jenny, your turn.
Biggest challenge that I've had to overcome, I would say just not having, we've talked about mentorship a lot. Actually, until I moved to Kansas City, I didn't have a mentor either. And I think that that is key. And looking at kind of some of the decisions that I made and how those may have been influenced differently if I would have had a mentor throughout the course of my life. So I would say that is, I don't know if that falls into a challenge, maybe not having the mentorship, but that is what I would say.
Good answer. Eric, how about you?
I'd have to say the single greatest answer I'd give would be the concept of complacency. And it's complacency that can strike almost any place. There's a huge sense of complacency in our industry, in cybersecurity in general. In fact, we label a lot of people as having compliance checkbox complacency. Instead of really caring about being secure, they just care about, can I check the boxes to say that I'm doing what I'm legally required to do? There's a lot of complacency in the industry of, is this good enough, or am I just doing good enough? And, as cliche as it is, everything that we're doing, everything that my team and I have been fighting to do has come from this sort of passion that drives us every single day of, as cliche as it is, this like startup, there has to be a better way concept. We don't have to accept paying a high price and getting a terrible level of service. We can provide a great service at a fair price and do it better than it's ever been done. It's the same thing with fighting complacency in employees and in hiring and in everything else. And, I think just having that culture of high standards and the belief, the true knowledge, the absolute certainty and the elevated emotion that this is what's going to happen, that we can do this, that we can do this together, and, driving to those kind of outcomes.
Ooh, good answer. All right, Bill.
I'm in recovery, and I've been sober for 21 years, and thankful today for my sobriety, and the idea that my challenges go even beyond that is something that I've been dealing with lately. Just the idea that just because I don't drink or use drugs doesn't mean I don't have even deeper issues that need to be dealt with. And this is Mental Health Awareness Month, and I just want to say that I'm in recovery from all kinds of issues that I carry with me, that I've carried with me my whole life. And I'm not afraid to talk about it. So if anybody wants to talk about it, reach out. But it's one of those things that I think we need to be able to talk about those kinds of things. And maybe complacency has a lot to do with that. We always do try to take the easy way out and not get to a point where we accept one another for who we are and what we are. I'm truly sorry, Dr. Cooper, that you've been, challenged by being a woman and being a woman of color. I think that's a sad place that we live in, that you have to deal with that kind of thing. I think it's even worse that you grew up in circumstances that did not give you the same opportunities that I had, and that's not fair either. So, there's a lot of things that aren't fair, but to see who you are today and what you've been able to do inspires me beyond what you know, and I just take that with me. Thank you.
What a good answer.
Bill.
I was going to tell you, I can't find the meme because I would have to go down a whole thing, but not a meme, but a tweet the other day. And it said, to your point about mental health awareness, it said, it was some man on Twitter said, I feel bad for millennial men. They'll never know what it's like to be a man's man. And this millennial man said, but I do know how to tell my daughter I love her without feeling like it demasculates me. So I found that really interesting. That reminded me of that. So I think that we are making big steps when it comes to mental health, and also men being able to talk about their mental health. So if nothing else, I've really seen a big change in that with the pandemic. So with that said, Scott.
Aaron, real quick, I think it's so wonderful that Cheryl, Jenny, Eric, and Bill, you guys have elevated this show so much. I don't think Aaron and I are used to carrying conversations, but literally all of you could just host the show and crush it. Your answers are amazing, but Aaron, what's the toughest thing that you've had to overcome?
What, me?
Yeah.
I mean,
How much time you got?
Right. We don't got time. No, I just think I think my biggest thing was probably when you get down to the root of it, to everybody's point, right? I'm doing a lot of therapy on this, is probably just a lack of belief in myself and thinking I needed other people, right? That's how you end up a single mom trying to find love in all the wrong places, and all sorts of different situations. So I would say, as a woman, and like to younger women, like if the faster you can figure out what you like, why you like it, and who you are, you just skyrocket from there. That would be. How about you, Scott?
The easy one is just being dyslexic, but I never really knew it till later in life. But the interesting thing is I gravitate towards people like yourself or my wife or my business partner, Melissa, that just don't judge anyone, because I'm such a wild card and I've done so many crazy things in my life. And so I think that's why you and I get along so well is, it's hard because with this camera, it's backwards. So, Aaron, do you want me to do an icebreaker, or do you want me to continue another question?
No, I want you to do an icebreaker. Everybody has 30 seconds to answer it.
Okay. So, what is your guilty food corporate pleasure? So, it's got to be corporate. It can't be a hole in the wall, cool place. But what's the chain, a big corporate chain that is your guilty pleasure that you like to go to and just eat a lot of food? Sure.
I'll do the example. So Scott's is Olive Garden.
Duh.
Hey, Scott, what's mine?
Well, it's Texas Roadhouse, but I'll argue that Olive Garden is
Applebee's. Scott, it's like we don't even know each other. My girlfriend's is Texas Roadhouse. Mine is Applebee's Fiesta Lime Chicken. Duh. Get it together. All right, Cheryl. Now completely ruined this whole thing. What is your favorite corporate?
Jack Stack Barbecue.
We'll let it slide.
Okay, you win.
They're not national.
Jenny.
Cheesecake Factory. That's it.
Here, I'll give you my complacency answer. There is a better way. Eat local, support local. Jack Stack is a great answer. Martin City Brewery is a great answer. Margaritas is a great answer. But I will not, have not, do not eat in the national chains.
Not even Taco Bell?
Nothing against you if you do, but, and
hold on.
like. So.
What if you have too many whiskeys at the whiskey tasting? You still don't go to Taco Bell.
We'll occasionally cater from Chipotle is probably the closest I get, but that's I wouldn't say is necessarily like a voluntary guilty pleasure as much as that's what's in front of me and I'll go ahead and eat it.
I feel like fish.
Great answer, but we got you.
We did get you, and I do feel like fish.
I got your question. I knew it was coming.
I feel like y'all are one of those companies that when you get Chipotle, you also get the guacamole. And I appreciate that about it.
And the queso.
High dollar companies.
I hope my employees aren't listening. Just kidding. Okay. Bill, what is your favorite?
Chewy's. I think my family loves Chewy. We love Chewy's. Chewy's is kind of our go-to. It's a national chain, right?
I've never been there.
Absolutely. And I apologize, Aaron. I forgot about Applebee's. You got me thinking when you told me about a line out the door with Texas Roadhouse. All I could think about was Olive Garden. And Olive Garden is not a corporate chain. Each one is local, deeply rooted in the community with all the breadsticks and salad you can eat.
Okay. Well, real quick, I want to go through these. Melanie says, thank you to the speakers for your sincerity. Apparently, I can't read today. Thank you all for sharing your insights and personal experiences. I've enjoyed being here. Judgment Free Zone, Scott Havens, and Harry Campbell. We're going to end it with him. Who would have thought? That's the fourth meal. So, all right. Well, thank you guys so much for coming. You can connect with each one of our guests. They are all tagged on our LinkedIn Drinks with Leaders page. You can check out this episode again or any of our episodes over on our new YouTube page that we went live on today or our Facebook page. We really appreciate you coming, and we will see you next week, same time, same place. Thanks so much for our guests and to our sponsor, Bank of Blue Valley.